Jackson Radio Show.
Museum of the Bible opened Saturday in Washington, D.C. It cost $500 million, making it the largest privately funded museum in the city. A big part of that money comes from the conservative Christian family-run company Hobby Lobby. Chip Reed is at the 430,000 square foot museum just blocks from the Capitol. Chip, good morning.
As you can see, this is a museum of biblical proportions. It's one of the biggest in this city of museums, even bigger than the massive Air and Space Museum. The people who build it say it's the most complicated project they've ever done, and Washington politics made it even more so.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. You can imagine Saudi money's coming over to open up the Museum of the Quran. You got to know it. It'll happen. Billions of dollars will get spent on that one, and it will have to be bigger and more majestic than the Museum of the Bible. However, the folks at Hobby Lobby who put this together, Steve Green, I applaud you. I applaud you for putting religion front and center. You know, we run from the topic of religion. The minute somebody starts talking about 1 Corinthians verses 3, chapter 14, chapter 14 verses 3 through 5. Oh, no, you don't do that. Don't go there with me. Let me tell you something. This show is nothing but religion. It's nothing but religion. When I say conservative, I'm saying Christian conservative, Judeo-Christian conservative. All the things that we talk about, the common sense virtues of man here, are nothing more than biblical principle without, me going all Romans chapter 10 verses 3 through 7, that kind of thing. Because I don't know the Bible to that degree. Now, my older brother, he could come on here and we could have some fun because he's a theologian. But I'm not. I'm just a common sense practitioner of Christianity who believes that people should do right about one another. And I don't care. I disagree with my friends on many things. I disagree with them on their car choices. I've disagreed with some of my male friends on the women they've chosen. I've disagreed with some of my female friends on the men they've chosen. I've disagreed with them on where they're going to vacation. I've disagreed on them with what I got out of a movie. I've disagreed with them on lots of different things. But you know what we agree on? We agree that we are all flawed human beings. And those flaws draw us not only closer to one another, but closer to God, or they should anyway. You don't push people away when you find out they're flawed. You bring them closer to you. And you're looking for people, for camaraderie, for people to be around you who, as the Bible would say, are equally yoked. Every time I think about situations like this, I go back to the frontier days, and you ask yourself, who did you want? I mean, you're in a new country, building a life. Who would you want around you? Some deadbeat's always got his hand out, or the guy that says, Kevin, came over to shoe the horses, brought your family some groceries we grew from this, and you say, hey, glad you came over. We were just about to come over to bring you some beef. We just slaughtered one of our animals and we're going to be going over, whatever. That's what you were looking for. Life was simple. And let me explain something to you folks. Life remains that simple. We can put all the accoutrements around it. We can make life complicated and say, ooh, I want to know what party I'm going to, or what kind of car I drive, or house I live in, or where I'm going to vacation, etc. But what it all boils down to really, when you get to the crux of it, is you want to be doing something that you choose with the people that you love. And the only thing that dictates how that happens is your finances or whatever else. But at its core, if you weren't spending that time in Hawaii or Costa Rica or some, lavish place that, staying in a 5-star hotel, and you were right at home barbecuing with friends and family, you should get the same level of enjoyment. The left makes that impossible. Anyway, thank you, Steve Green and Hobby Lobby, for building a Bible museum. Something in America that we can all go to and look at our faith and understand it. The closest thing you have to the Vatican just got built right in D.C., and you should go check it out. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was, and the theme of the show today is being American. Being American is about the search for truth. It's also about the concept of building something from nothing. And I mentioned the frontier people because that's what happened. If you think about everything we have today, somebody started it with an idea, and that idea has progressed over the years, over the decades, over the centuries. And now we find ourselves in this amazing country, very young, but still going very strong. And I know people talk, well, it's time for America to end. Countries only last a certain amount of time and then it's over. That's not true of us. It's not. Let me tell you something. We have written a constitution. We have created an American spirit that can survive the test of time and already has in much degree. Think about the things that could have ripped apart this country. The idea that Democrats thought at one point that people should be slaves, the property of other men. And they continued to fight that battle against them. Even after they got their butts kicked, they continued to fight that battle against the country. They were dividing the country. A country that said, look, we've already had to defeat our biggest enemy to date. Now we have an even bigger enemy, our own enemy within. And you know where we find ourselves right now, folks? We are in the biggest civil rights battle, the biggest fight war of all of our history. Brother against brother, yet again, in a way that you've never imagined it. I would much rather be fighting the Russians or the Chinese than I am to be fighting against my brothers who believe that through their so-called diversity, they're uniting this country. They know they're not. They're nothing but dividers, these leftists. And they're mad because we want to hold not only them, but the people that supposedly represent us accountable. We want to determine our destiny, where our money goes, the things that we decide. We don't want some bureaucrat saying, you're going to support transgender issues. I don't have to support transgender issues. I can feel for them without putting a nickel to their cause. I got causes. I got indulgences. I don't expect anybody to pay for my indulgences, my idiosyncrasies, my whatever you want to call them. I will take care of them myself. And unless I'm completely unable to do that, then the system should take over and help. If you don't think that I worry about, long-term disability and all these things that could completely upend my life, catastrophic illness, etc., I do. And I'm going to tell you right now, if those catastrophes hit me or my family, I would deal with them through the system. And if it turned out that I was a casualty of them and died, so be it. That's life. There are no guarantees. Hold people accountable by beginning of holding yourself accountable. How about that? When did we all become wards of the government? Life makes no commitments to you. It makes no promises. And the only place that you have the closest thing to that is through opportunity. And that's in this country. Oh, my goodness, man, I could go on here. So much to talk about too. Over the weekend, let me tell you what you can set your watch by. There were lots of killings in Chicago. Chicago surpassed the 600 killing mark not even this over the weekend. This was during the week. So less than last year, but still a lot of people dying. And this is true in Baltimore. Baltimore, we had a cop killed. That story got absorbed in the media cycle around Franken and all this other nonsense. Roy Moore. A police officer gunned down. They think they got the suspect. Shocking, young black man. You know who the police was killed? Young black man. It's crazy out there. We're still battling the leftover capitalism. The NFL ratings, we talk about them every week now because we have to showcase to you that we're winning. You know why we're winning every time Chicago has this high death rate? It's a win for conservatism, as crazy and ironic as that sounds. It's because leftists will never believe us until we put it in their faces that their policies don't work. Their policies get people killed. You know why it's necessary to talk about the NFL ratings? To show leftists that their policies don't work. The NFL is a corporation that's broken and dysfunctional because of progressivism. And you want to know something else that we need to be throwing in their faces? Where's this Russia-Trump investigation going? Who else is going to be standing before the man? You got Manafort and one other low-level guy, Papadopoulos. Who else you got? Where's that now looking at? Where are we looking at now? Where's Special Counsel Mueller, the most honest man in D.C.? Democrats recently called for the impeachment of Donald Trump, despite warnings from Nancy Pelosi not to do it, and a handful of these clowns did it anyway. What about that? That's a story. Where's Nancy Pelosi's power? Doesn't exist. And the leftists showcase every single day how stupid they are, how stupid their ideology is, and I'm going to point it out to you. That's my job. Back in a bit.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.